Hi everyone, my name is Becc. I'm a channel for love and a spiritual teacher. Today I want to tell you a little bit about the earth energy that we're currently moving through and how to do that effectively and without kind of feeling run down and overwhelmed. Because a lot is happening in our earth at the moment, a lot is happening in our collective. We are really being brought into a really strong awakening. As you can probably tell, if you're a light worker, you're probably watching this video looking around the world like, OMG, what is happening? If you want to understand that further, I'd invite you to watch my video called, I think, Bringing in the New Earth, which helps us to understand. But right now, we are moving through crown chakra themed energy on a planetary and collective level. When systems of life are awakening and responding to their essence, the call of their essence that wants to awaken, it tends to express itself in a thematic pattern, in a pattern of unfoldment is what I call it. And it can look like the chakras kind of awakening one by one and going up our 7 main chakras and beyond. So recently, for instance, the world has been in third eye type of energy. Before that, it was a throat chakra kind of energy. At that time, we were really collectively, societally, and individually in your life, if you are flowing and in rhythm, you will be experiencing the same kind of themes and energies that the planet is being soaked in. So we were going through a throat chakra type of awakening where there was a lot about truth. There was a lot about the expression of truth, communication, miscommunication, both sides of everything. So shadow aspects of these themes and light aspects of the themes. And then after that, we moved into a third eye kind of area where we were, it was about our vision and our ability to see clearly as a collective, as humanity. And to see beyond illusion was really important. So now we've moved into the crown chakra area, and here we are awakening into an awareness of who we really are. This is your source point, your connection to the God force, your embodied awareness of what and who that is. And then there's actually another chakra up here that we are also connecting into at this time. I would call it the paramount chakra. Some people call it, I think some people call it the star chakra. So I have notes to the side as usual. But what I want to talk about is this kind of flow where we are now and what that means for us. So what it's meant is that we are really called into awakening into what we are. We have to stop denying that we are a divine light being. We are multidimensional divine beings. That is the message and the theme and the awakening that wants to occur as you move through these energies up here. This is really having that release of the old consciousness of who you think you are and moving into a very strong, real, 100% embodied awareness that you are a multidimensional being. Humanity has been in a denial. We've been in a denial of who we are, that I am a God force being. I am a part of the God force. You are the God force. There is no difference or separation between me and, for instance, higher beings that we project a hierarchy onto, such as angels or the Pleiadians or whatever. I use that as an example to help us understand that it has to get to that point of I'm a God force being, my Pleiadian guide is a God force being, and we are equal. There is an equality there that's been missing from our consciousness. So what it really reminds me of, I read once about something someone wrote, I'm not sure where it originates from, I wish I knew, but there's this term, Homo luminous. Instead of Homo sapien, Homo luminous. And as far as I could tell, it comes from the Mayan and Hopi kind of prophecies. But that's what we're shifting into now, is to be in our true ascended form of who we are, and to own that, be in our true nature. Um, and it's about awakening to the absolute. This is about the absolute, the God force, and understanding yourself as that, seeing yourself as that. And with this, we actually start to release our identity as human. It's not that we stop being human or that there is anything wrong with being human. When I say human, I'm talking about our current association with that word, which is a being that is limited, a being that is not multidimensional, a being that is not equal to high vibrational beings that we might be aware of, a being that doesn't have magical powers or psychic gifts and the ability to alchemize, to turn water into wine, all those things. Our current identity is that, and that is, it needs to be thrown out. It has to be thrown out. I say this with emphasis because there's such a inevitability to this ascension. There's such a strong pull of the light that you won't be able to hold on to this idea. The more that we hold on to it, you can choose to do that, but the more pain you will feel. It will be painful. It will be because you are in resistance to the essence of what you are, and resistance is what creates suffering. So there's going to be collectives and groups of people who stay, let's say, asleep and continue to essentially devolve, like fall back into an even deeper and darker version of third dimensional humanness. But we have an option here. We have an option to respond to the light that's coming in and say, yes, I'm going to do this, I agree. Even though it's going to look like letting go of our identity as a human. I speak from experience, it starts to feel like you, for one thing, you have awareness of your past lives. That's a big thing. When you start to really embody your higher self through healing, this is through healing, everybody, because your higher self is already here. We just want to move whatever's in the way out of the way. But for instance, when you start to integrate your light, when you start to embody your light, you will, for instance, remember your past lives. And it's kind of this really strong awakening of like, whoa, I've been here before. I am like just in a play right now. You have this really embodied truth that you are more of your vastness, and the idea that you are just this limited human. Of course, we still fall into it again and again as we are healing in a spiral pattern, but this idea of just being a human in the way that I mentioned earlier is so incorrect. It becomes so false. I can't even. Yeah, so we really want to be kind of like a disidentification from the idea of human to a divine being of light instead. And when we step into that with our heart and not ego or anything, we are just honoring what we are. And then it's like, I'm a divine being of light who is being a human right now. I'm a divine being of light who is wearing humanness right now. It starts to be like, another example is, I was looking at my cat and I could just so tangibly, experientially, in an embodied way, know that I'm a divine being of light, he's a divine being of light, he's just wearing a cat, like he's just wearing a cat body. There is no difference. We are all a part of the God force in this consciousness sea of light that is sacred and beautiful. As part of removing that illusion and those associations with what it means to be human and stepping into Homo Luminous, we also want to disidentify from the illusion that we are not already whole and complete as we are. That's what this is about, is to step into ownership of the fact that this light is already complete, that is already complete, is within you. And you are it. You have just been wearing all this stuff. And you're not that stuff. You're not. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. These are things that are playing out. These are the sea, the waves in a sea of awareness. And you're not the waves. You're not even the one like just swimming around and flailing around the waves. You are the awareness of the sea itself. So we really want to be practicing that, and it helps us to, as far as ascension goes, what we're talking about is humanity being like, okay, I'm a divine being of light, okay, I'm multidimensional, okay, I am a cosmic being, I'm awakening to the stars. This is our ascension process. And we become, when we're able to not have that limited identity, we become more receptive, more open, and more for other beings of light and love to communicate with us. Because now we're giving a sacred permission of like, yes, I agree, I am light. And we become in our rightful place in this sacred web of love. There is a sacred web of love. It's like a golden light that connects all beings. And this is where we want to see and place ourselves. We have to let go of this denial. We have to own that we are denying. We are walking around pretending that we are limited. And when we awaken out of that, again, it's not to say that it's wrong to be human or to have those waves that we have. But we really want to take ownership and responsibility for the fact that we have been believing the waves. We have been believing the identity and the concept of just this lifetime of, I point to myself, of just Becc. Like, I'm not just that. I am a being of light who has been to many places, who is experiencing a kind of hologram. It's kind of like a video game where I'm acting out certain things to figure out how to express the light here with all that going on, transmuting that as I go. That's what we're doing. And so this awakening is happening in this area, as I said, because this is associated with your connection to spirit and your awareness of the God force and who you truly are. And it should be said that we are called also to take care of ourselves. It's interesting, as you awaken to something like awareness of my God force or more embodiment of higher self, we awaken to the light truths of that, what I call the light side of it. So that's like, okay, I'm a divine being of light. I'm practicing my light. But so because of that light, things come up to purify. And we also need to go to the opposite, because everything has a polarity to it, because we're still experiencing some duality, or rather we have that duality in our being because we're human, and that's what we're releasing when we heal. And we come back to oneness in ourselves. So as you are sort of in the healing phase, the light side of this stuff, you're also going to be experiencing even more of your humanness, even more of what it means to be human, accepting that you're human, looking after your human self, your physical body. Things like that are going to come up as well, because this is that polarity to being a God force light being, is to also be able to be balanced in your humanness as well. And that's what we're healing. That's kind of the veil, the wave that's been in the way of accepting your divine light in an embodied way, where we step into homo lumenness. So we're not getting rid of our humanness, we're just becoming, or rather owning, that we are more. But so you might find that you have a stronger connection to earth. You might find that a lot of your physical stuff is going on, health stuff is going on, because it's coming up to be purified because of that light, because of that light that calls for purification and balance. and so that we can embody Homo Luminous, making sure that we don't reject our humanness as we awaken to this amazing God force that we also have and are as well. So I really wanted to share that with you guys because it's been like such a roller coaster for me, and it's going to continue to be that way. We're in a rapid ascension cycle. You do need to like look after yourself. It's kind of like nothing is more important right now. Nothing is more important than your spiritual growth. And because we are ascending, it's just you have an easier time if you agree with it as you go, rather than resisting or focusing on other things so you can't caretake what's happening in you. So thank you for connecting, and as usual, you can connect with me through Sacred Session, where we learn to embody your light. We unfold the light, and it's a really beautiful process because it's born out of this ascension that's been happening for me as well. So I hope to connect with you, and thanks for watching as always. Please like and subscribe and comment. I'd love to know your experiences around this time, and have a good day.